December 7, 1941. Hundreds of Japanese planes roar over Pearl Harbor. Battleships explode. Airfields burn. It's one of the darkest days in U.S. military history. But what if one impossible thing had been hidden on the tarmac that morning, something no one could explain? What if a fighter jet from the future lay under a tarp, a machine no one, in 1941, could have imagined? An F-22 Raptor, the most advanced fighter on Earth, dropped into a battle it was never built for. What happens when modern stealth meets the smoke and chaos of a surprise attack? Can one jet change the fate of a harbor? Or does history surge forward regardless? Stay with me, because this morning is about to split into two different worlds. The F-22 on that tarmac is a bird from a different era. It can cruise at Mach 1.5 without afterburners over 1,100 miles per hour faster than anything that existed in 1941. It ests, nearly invisible to radar, armed with missiles that think for themselves, and a cannon that spits metal like a throat of thunder. Imagine this plane S loadout. 6 AIM, 120 AMR, AA Misudar guided missiles that can strike targets dozens of miles away to AIM-9 Sidewinders for close-up fights. And an M61A2 Vulcan cannon capable of hundreds of rounds per minute. Its radar can lock onto 20 targets simultaneously. This isn't just a plane. It's a predator with eyes, teeth, and nerves of steel. But there's one brutal truth. The Raptor has no crew to support it. No spare parts, no modern fuel tanks, no electronics, specialists, nothing in 1941 can repair or refuel this machine. It will get one chance, one sortie, one chance to carve an impossible mark into history. Now, let's look down at the enemy. The Japanese strike force launched 353 aircraft that day. This was precision, rehearsed to the heartbeat. Mitsubishi Zeros. Mitsubishi Zeros. Skimming the sky, Nakajima torpedo bombers hugging the water, dive bombers screaming down with iron in their bellies. Each aircraft was built for daring, maneuverability, and surprise. They had no guided missiles, no computers, no radar-assisted targeting. Everything, navigation, aiming, survival was human skill and courage. On paper, one modern jet against a swarm of prop planes seems laughable. But war never runs on paper. The first wave, 183 planes, comes in low over the water. The Raptor launches from a field no one suspected would host the future. It climbs in seconds, sprinting into the blue, its radar sweeping like an all-seeing eye. Targets light up dozens, then scores. The pilots below don't even know what's watching them. They don't understand a missile that appears out of nowhere and tears a bomber from formation. And then the sky breaks. The first IMRAM streak outward. Planes that had been in perfect formation, one heartbeat gone, the next. No machine gun tracers. No warning flare. Just silence where metal used to fly. Panic blossoms. Bombers scatter. Fighters peel away to find the invisible threat. The Raptor slams through the air, firing its cannon and picking off any who managed to brave a head-on approach. The Japanese pilots, brave, trained, confident, find themselves facing something their flight manuals do not mention. But there is a catch. Numbers beat technology when logistics are on your side. The second wave, another 170 aircrafties already inbound. Alarms scream on the ground. Anti-aircraft crews run to gun emplacements. Sailors on the battleships look up and see the impossible carving tracer into the enemy. For the Americans, this is hope. For the Japanese, it's a nightmare in which aircraft wink out of existence. Still, the Raptor is one plane. A single instrument of the future cannot be everywhere. As it climbs, dives, and tears through formations, low-flying torpedo bombers thread the needles between bursts. A ship that might have been saved in a different scenario now takes a glancing blow. Another bomber slips past the sight line and releases a deadly payload. Even with near-perfect marksmanship, a single jet can, at best, thin a swarm, not stop it entirely. There's a second, crueler clock ticking down. Fuel and support. Modern jets drink modern fuel, P8. or similar fuel that simply does not exist in 1941? Even if the Raptor touches down safely, it becomes a cathedral of technology with no congregation. No technicians, no spare missiles, no diagnostics, no way to restore it. If a sensor fails, it's broken. If a turbine sputters, there's no replacement. Its miracle is finite 1 hour, maybe less, of combat power. So what does that 1 hour buy? Lives. Chaos for the attackers. New choices for commanders. A dozen planes downed can mean the difference between a battleship being crippled and a battleship surviving. A dozen lives spared becomes a dozen families kept whole. It also changes morale. American eyes that see something to believe in will fight differently. Japanese pilots who witness a phantom predator may carry fear into subsequent mission sphere that fractures even the most disciplined forces. But the deeper ripple is psychological. History's arc might bend. The attack would still happen. The war would still begin. Yet the story changes. Small shifts produce different consequences. A flagship saved might redirect a flotilla. A damaged carrier avoided could alter a later campaign. The Raptor cannot stop the giant engine of war, but it can clog a gear, slow a piston, and leave the enemy searching for ghosts. Here's another layer no one considers at first. The effect of the Raptor's existence on those who survive it. Sailors and airmen would speak of a machine impossible to comprehend. Rumors would spread. Confidence among defenders would swell. The legend of a one-day savior would inspire new doctrine, new urgency in aircraft development, and a different psychology for the early Pacific War. Meanwhile, the attackers would wrestle with the terror of an enemy they cannot understand. Panic. Good commanders struggle to contain. But a miracle with no logistical backbone is still only a miracle. When the Raptor finally runs dry, or when a system failure grounds it, the wonder freezes in time. Mechanics with wrenches examine hardware they cannot read. Fuel drums cannot be conjured. Missiles sit inert, beautiful and useless. The aircraft that changed one morning's course is now an artifact, a locked promise. So what's the verdict, sweeping hero or fleeting anomaly? The honest answer sits between both extremes. One Raptor would not have stopped Pearl Harbor. It could not have patrolled every inch of sky or protected every ship and runway. But could it have saved lives? Absolutely! Could it have broken the perfect synchronization of the Japanese waves and left them reeling? Yes. Could it have become a legend that altered morale and strategy? Without question. This is the haunting moral of our thought experiment. Technology can deliver miracles briefly. It cannot, by itself, replace preparation, numbers, and the slow, terrible arithmetic of logistics. One superb weapon creates a story. Entire wars are decided by far more mundane things. Supply lines, fuel, timing, and resolve. Now, I want to hear from you. If a single machine from the future dropped into the past, do you call it a savior or a curse? Would that 1 hour of terror be worth the decades of myth it would spawn? Tell me in the comments below. If you enjoyed this deep dive into alternate history, if you like imagining impossible tech-changing famous battles, smash that like button. It helps this channel keep making videos that blend history, speculation, and real engineering. And if you're new here, subscribe and ring the bell. We explore what-if moments every week, with facts, drama, and the kind of detail that keeps you thinking long after the video ends. Thanks for watching. Now, click the next video on screen to see what happens if a Roman legion charges a World War II bunker. You'll be surprised how often the past and future collide.